What we're going to do is we're going to progress through 3 phases. We're going to start out on the floor. I'm going to show you a couple techniques there. We're going to move to a position where you can actually sit and get your hips kind of to a 90-90 position. And then we're going to actually show you probably the most golf-specific component, which is going to be up standing against a wall. Okay, let's get back onto the mat. Let's get the legs apart a little bit. You can be up on your heels. Okay, from this position, you can come up nice and tall. And all we're going to do is work on coming forward. Good. And then we're going to work on coming forward on diagonal. Okay. So nice and tall, rotate, and forward, okay, and then forward in this direction, okay? You can also maintain that nice and tall and just work on pure rotation, good, and pure side bending, okay? Again, each exercise, holding for a couple seconds. You're going to actively use your trunk muscles. Okay, if you want to add assistance for rotation, you can actually get against your leg and you can actually rotate in this type of manner. Good. And then the other direction. So you can use your leg kind of as a fulcrum to assist with the stretch. Good. What you can also do is bring your hands behind, especially if you don't have any shoulder issues, you can bring your hands behind there and lace the fingers, and now you can work on rotation, side bending, forward bend, and rotation with a side bend. I'm sorry, rotation and a forward bend. And I think those can be targeted. And I find as you bring your hands up, it allows you to really access more into the middle part of the spine. So that's the first phase. Now what you can do is you can actually move. And we used a regular gym bench here. Someplace where you can get your hips to about 90 degrees. You can bring the legs apart. Now what you can do here is you can actually use the bench, and you can actually kind of reach and really target the structures a little bit more. And what I'm feeling here is I'm feeling a stretch right off the lower part of my back, targeting the tissues as they attach to the pelvis. So we're getting what's called the lumbodorsal fascial tissues. Real important for hip hinge and good mobility and length through the low back. Okay. What you can do from there is you can add rotation. Now you can use the bench and one hand over the opposite leg for rotation. Good. You can go both directions with that. And then once you get to that position, you can actually keep the arms crossed. You can rotate, forward bend. Good. Rotate, forward bend, getting those diagonal structures. Okay, these combined movement patterns are used by the spine in the golf swing mechanics. Okay, and then you can add another diagonal with rotation, and you can actually rotate and then target the tissues more into the front. Okay, so I'm kind of getting the structures right here. Rotate and getting right here. Even better with the arms up here, we can really target and isolate the middle part of the back. You can go a little bit more forward. You can work on rotation, side bending. Again, here in a diagonal, and here in a diagonal away. So I think that'll give you some really good options in that seated position. And then lastly, we're going to move to the wall. And I like to kind of almost use the wall just as a kind of a bar stool kind of sensation where I'm just kind of leaning against it. I can actually take an athletic stance with my knees bent. And what you can do is very specifically maintain a nice tall position. You can hold that hip hinge, and now you can rotate. Notice I got a lot of stability in my lower body. I'm not letting the movement occur from there, and I'm working on rotation. Okay, and then what you can do is you can work on rotation and forward diagonal, rotation, forward diagonal. Okay, rotation. You can get a little bit of side bending, but I think the rotation patterns work best, because you're kind of fixed here, and it's very difficult with the wall to kind of go into the backwards bending position. So I think this will give you 3 real specific options to target the spine for mobility, long sitting position on the mat, to a seated position on a bench, to leaning up against the wall. So give those a try to maximize your spine mobility and your mechanics for your golf swing.